Right here we have a Genie. This is a model IS550/A from 1997, I'm pretty sure. But we're going to be parting this out. I've never actually did a full teardown of a Genie screwdriver before. This one's surprisingly clean, which is not really a good sign. These stop block is definitely a bit knackered, and same with the antenna. So we'll see what this thing's about. We'll plug it in, see what happens. First, just curious if the receiver light lights up, see if it runs for a little bit or something. It's making a humming noise. Okay, I am getting a flashing light. Wait, that remote's dead. We'll see if it clears out the remote history. There it goes. Let's see what happens if it runs. So it works. Limit switch wires are cut off. Gotta strip them and touch them against the thing, but I'm gonna guess that this thing's just fine. It's an old Genie screwdriver. It's kind of hard to kill these. And there's not really gonna be much here to show. I've never actually torn one of these apart before, because these don't really break. But I think for a video, it would be fun to tear apart one of these. They're one of the best garage door openers ever made in terms of reliability, but they definitely have some downsides, which is probably the reason why they don't make them anymore. But these were very easy to repair. Not much went wrong on these. But the cons are they're very noisy. You need to grease the rail often. If you over grease it, then they splatter all over the door and you get like grease streaks down your door. Oh, Jesus. Jeez. Remember, I had one of these on my shed, like custom rigged to do the doors. Oh, that's a mouse nest. Ew. Snake skin in there. That's interesting, but ew. Okay. Definitely quite disgusting. I have to dispose of that in the fire pit. So, something I'm curious is I'm going to take this motor apart because I believe there's a little gear kit in here. I'm not sure. So we'll see how that goes. Honestly, besides that, this is a good power head. All sorts of corrosion on it. Oh, capacitor's definitely on its way out. That may have been why this one was replaced. Yeah, that capacitor's spoiled. There's all sorts of corrosion in there. So it worked now, but it may have not worked earlier. That's what I'm gonna say. So these have two sets of boards. There's this one, which is the receiver board, and then this one over here, which is the logic board. Logic board does all the main functions, and the other one just listens to remote receivers or remotes and receives the signals for remotes, code pads, etc. There is a little bit of like arcing going on here on a transformer, but I think that's just from the manufacturing process, that transformer. Wasn't expecting a mouse nest, but I have seen mouse nests before in garage door opener power heads. Oh, not really a good way to hold this. Let's see how this control board is held, and there's a couple tabs there. Oh, so here's like those clips there. That. Okay, something's still connecting it. Okay, what does this connect? Oh, it's a bandit screw over here on the side. Never had to replace a board on one of these. We'll disconnect. That clip doesn't want to come off. There it goes. We'll disconnect that one jumper wire, and it goes over there to the board. Well, these Genie screwdriver boards, there's not really much that's changed on these over the years. Pretty much for a majority of their lifetime. In the 90s when they added sensors to these, they haven't really changed. This connector is a bit difficult, but have this board. This is a good board, so keep that, set that aside. Terminal block, this wires here, just a few things, or wall button common. Our RPM sensor. The Hall effects wheel first. Dead spider. So the transformer is there on the bottom, but it appears to be held in with a rivet. So remove this now. Looks like there's just two screws. There's the bandit screw here, and then that one on the front. That's the receiver board, which I'm gonna guess is probably good. I didn't go ahead and go for testing. Actually, it might be. There's a screw here too. So, oh wait, no, that was just a capacitor bracket. So here's our receiver board. Everything there looks copacetic. Oh, I'm not going to bother with those. Oh, that's our earth connection. Got another earth connection over here. Thing it off to do this the proper way. Transformer is making a bit of a buzzing noise, so I'm not sure if it was good or not, but Not too worried if I break it. This is going to end up in the scrap pile anyway. So now it looks like all we got to do is just remove this motor. Looks like the motor would just split apart. So let's see what's inside of a motor for a Genie screwdriver. So it looks like there are the two wires that go to the capacitor. This red one, which is probably use capacitor, and that's my speed common. Okay. I think I'm on figuring this out. Trust me, I know how motors work. So here's a clutch in here. That's interesting. Well, no, maybe that's just to hold the thrust washer into place. These studs here. I have never seen a motor burn out in a Genie screwdriver. So, I have my suspicions about this, so I remove that. Yeah, there's no gearbox or anything in the front. This is the rotor. It's a really big rotor. That's probably the majority of the weight of this machine. And then move the stator. Bang on it. Don't have a hammer over here. There we go. So here is, maybe I'll keep this actually. This is a Genie screwdriver rotor. Really big. Not rotor, stator. And then this is pretty much the rest of the power head. I got the two light sockets here on each side. That's where the main logic board would be. That's where the relay board, receiver board is. And there's a cast stamp on here of 95. Another one says 96, and another one says 97. So, a bit interesting there. But, yeah. And then this front gear housing cover that the rail attaches to, that's just held on the rivets. It's cast aluminum. So, yeah. That's what's inside of a Genie screwdriver. Thank you very much for watching, and keep the breeze.